Yeah. Wasn't that powerful? Wasn't that powerful? Thank you. Y'all know I'm always honest about stuff, right? A lot of times when I see people doing praise dance and stuff, for the first 4 or 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, that's amazing. After a while, I'm like, when is it going to end? I didn't want hers to end. I wanted her to keep going. That story was so powerful and she was so into it, right? Everything about it that she was doing, she was giving you the pictures of where it was going. That was beautiful. I'll give her another round of applause. Oh, my goodness. About to give y'all the life talk today, but that just gave me chills. And it gave me chills for a multitude of reasons. Y'all heard Alexa say we don't never plan what's going on. We don't know which way we going, yada, yada, yada. Literally, he just had me read Isaiah 54, where it was talking about nobody and nothing that you've done in your past, say goodbye. Nothing that you've done in your past can harm you. Nothing can get in your way. No one will be able to touch you. And you just got to go ahead on with your life because God's going to be there for you. Then she got up here and basically told us, make sure you're saying goodbye. Make sure that you welcome in that peace. Make sure that you welcome in that joy. And again, I don't think that they knew what they were doing. It just happens, And it's so funny because the Life Talk today, I guess I got to start with the story. Look, I was like, I ain't gonna say Velma though, because that's past the thing. Sister Pam? There you go, story time. So my wife, I let her share her little joy of what she did this weekend, but she decided she wanted to go on a trip. So we went to Monticello, I don't know what y'all want to call it, Thomas Jefferson House. Yes, ma'am, you were there. Thomas Jefferson's house. And as we were there, it's on a mountain. And so there became a thunderstorm that came out of nowhere. It wasn't supposed to be rain or anything, but a thunderstorm came out of nowhere and they had a lightning watch. And when they had the lightning watch, we started talking about how it wasn't supposed to do this, but then it did. And we're standing on this beautiful mountain looking at this beautiful scenery. And it got me to thinking about a whole lot of things that have been happening lately, natural disasters that weren't supposed to happen, but they did. Like recently, we know that there was a flood in Texas, flash flood out of nowhere. They got fireballs dropping in the middle of South Carolina. The volcano was erupting for 10, 11 hours in Hawaii. And then this month, last month, literally in Georgia, they're getting golf ball size hail in Georgia. Like, none of that stuff is supposed to be happening. But we sit here and I looked at it and I was thinking about how, one, we know that we can't control things, but we also know that there's an essence of time in this world. So I'm going to read 3 portions of the Bible, and in those 3 portions of the Bible, I really don't feel like I have to really explain it because they seem very, very succinct of what they say, but then we'll run back around. So we'll start off with Ephesians 5:11. Ephesians 5:11 through 17 says, "Take no part in unfruitful works of darkness, but instead expose them. For it is shameful even to speak of things that they do in secret. But when anything is exposed by the light, it becomes visible. For anything that becomes visible is light. Therefore it says, 'Awake, O sleeper, and arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you.' Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of time, because the days are evil. Therefore do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is." The next one I want you to read is James 4:13 through 15. "Come now, you who say, 'Today or tomorrow we'll go into such and such a town and spend there and trade and make a profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? For you are a mist that appears for a little time and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, 'If the Lord wills, we will live and do this or that.'" Then in Mark 5, it says, from the fig tree, learn its lesson. As soon as its branch becomes tender and puts out its leaves, you know that the summer is near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that he is near, at the very gates. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. No one knows that day or hour. But concerning that day or that hour, no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. Be on guard, keep awake, for you do not know when the time will come. And it's so funny because as I was going through these verses, I always go back to social media, so I'm scrolling through social media and I see somebody post on this page. They post this on the page. It says, it's a picture, it says this time. You got the picture? Yes, it says, time is the only currency that you spend without knowing your balance. Use it wisely. Time is the only currency that you spend without knowing your balance. When we spend our money, we always know how much we got left. We don't know how much time we have left. We sit here, and I'm wearing a shirt today that says, I've read the final chapter, God Wins. In Revelations, it goes through so many things. We studied in PYC. We talked about how it's going to happen, what signs and suggestions will come. These signs and suggestions are already here. The difference is that we don't know when a short time is to God and when a long time is to God. So you have to be ever ready. This is like the Boy Scouts, be always ye prepared. Literally, you have to be ready. So we're sitting there and we're talking about not looking back so we can get rid of everything in the past. But we got to start moving forward with intention. We have to make sure that everything that we're doing is intentional, is purpose-filled, and is driven by the will of God. Not the will of you, but the will of God. Not the will of you, but the will of God. And all those verses, it kept on saying, well, what is God's will? You don't know the time, you don't know the day, but you do know that God wants you to do certain things. You do know that God wants you to put forth goodness into the atmosphere. You do know that God wants you to believe in him and have faith in him. There was somebody that said this weekend that faith is like a tea bag. Faith is like a tea bag. You don't know what you're made of until the water gets hot. So there's a reality. We sitting out here, we saying we got faith. But when life gets hot, what are you made of? When things start to boil and things get hot around you, what are you made of? Is your faith gonna waver? Is your faith gonna change? Or are you gonna continue to have faith in the Lord, continue to do the good things you're supposed to do? That's the reality of what you have to do on a daily basis, every day, all the time, because you do not know when the end will come. You just have to be ready so that when the trumpets sound, you ain't got to hear them because you're already on your way up. That's your life talk for today.